Aloha everyone, and welcome back to Aloha Jen's beauty blog. For those of you that are new here, hi, my name is Jen and I am a licensed esthetician in the state of California. Today's video we are going to try on the new released Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette in the Deer palette, which is the Fair to Light palette. And here's the artwork. And here's a little ASMR for you. I did it. I was waiting to do that for the intro. So I love the artwork. I think it's beautiful. I'm not going to go into all the details about the artist or anything like that. Today is just to try on to see if this is the right color story if you are my shade twin for you. It's very pretty. I have it on right now, and I'm going to share the rest of my thoughts for the rest of the video for you. Now, tomorrow we will be doing the Swan palette. I can't try on both of these in one video because the thing is I can't apply and reapply makeup to my skin like that because my skin will be very angry with me, and I hope that you understand. And I'm breaking this up into two different videos so I can really share my full thoughts and opinions on these palettes. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and give it a like, subscribe if you're new here, leave me a comment down below. And by the way, there are a couple of influencers here who have discount codes with Hourglass. I'll put it here on the screen. It will get you 10% off these palettes if you're interested. So it's a way to save a little bit of money because I don't think that these will be available for the Sephora sale. So if you want them now, I'll put the discount codes right here for you. All right. Aloha everyone, and welcome to this demonstration. So here are my two Hourglass palettes that just arrived, and it is 3:22 p.m. They arrived at 2:45 p.m. I jumped in the shower to get ready really quick. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to swatch them. But today we are going to play with the Deer palette. I will open them up with you right now and hold them up against the Evil Eye and the Dragon palette. So the Deer palette is the light color story, if I can get it out. And I ordered these from Hourglass, of course, that's the only place where you can get them. But so here is the artwork on the box, same as last year and the years past. The Deer, I think, is really, really pretty. And I do have my plastic sheet on here, but I will wait to take it off. And then let's open it up. Wow. It looks so much prettier in person than it does online. Much brighter, a little bit darker than what it does online. Now, right off the bat, I do notice a difference in the palette in the mirror. The mirror stands up. So here is my Dragon palette. As you can see the mirror. And then look at this. It actually stands up now compared to last year. So let's hold these together really quick. And I'm going to show you them side by side. So this is last year's palette, which is the Dragon palette, and then this is this year's palette, which is the Deer palette. In my opinion, the Deer palette is much lighter than the Dragon palette last year. The Dragon palette last year definitely looks a little bit darker, more pigmented than this one. So hopefully it works for my skin. And let me unmagnetize them. Now, the bronzer works for me in the Dragon palette, and I love the bronzer in the Evil Eye palette, as the Evil Eye palette is for medium skin tones, but this is the same bronzer that is in the Swan palette. So here's the Swan. So Swan is actually my favorite out of all four covers. And then I have the Horse coming sometime this week too, by the way. I opened it up at the wrong end. So they're definitely tough to get out of the packaging. I probably should have done this off camera, but I didn't have time, so I just figured it'd be fun and we can do it all together. So here's the Swan palette. She's pretty. Now tomorrow I will film a look with this one. I can't do it all today because I'm short on time and I can't be taking off and on makeup on my skin. It just won't have it. Now this definitely is much prettier in person than what it was last year. Now here is the deer palette and here is the swan palette. I'll hold them up side by side. As you can tell, the swan palette looks deeper than the deer palette, as it is for medium skin tones. This is for fair to light. I would say this is for light to medium skin tones, and then you have the fox, which is for medium to deep skin tones. And I've been seeing a lot of people say that that fox palette is actually, it's lighter this year than what it was last year. So that's kind of disappointing. So we have the evil eye palette here, and then the swan palette here. And as you can tell, same bronzer, but everything else is new except for the finishing powder in this one. I believe this one, is it dim light? Yeah, dim light. And the blushes are new and the highlighter are new. So here they are. To me, I like this color story better than last year's, but I still love both last year's palettes. I think they're beautiful and gorgeous, especially when I've been playing with them all week. So I am going to put the swan palette away and we are going to play with the deer palette today. So let me close this up really quick, and I'm going to apply my eyeshadow primer first, and then I'm going to apply my foundation. Now for today, the foundation, I am going to use the Chantecaille Skin Tint in the shade Vanilla. Now this does have a mineral SPF of 15, which is titanium dioxide. I've already had my sunscreen on for almost 15 minutes, and today I'm using the Dermatology Universal Tinted SPF 46. This is a tinted moisturizer, and the tint isn't really tinted. It just does nothing for my skin. So I'm going in with the Makeup by Mario New liquid eyeshadows. I've been using this as a makeup primer, and this is the shade Bisque, which is the lightest one. And I'm going to in with a Refer B03 brush. This is made for cream and liquid shadows. And with these liquid shadows, I would be really careful to use them with natural hair brushes. But as you can see, that just evens out my eyelid skin and smooths out the skin. Yesterday, I did get some creasing with this, with the Hourglass Evil Eye palette, as I've been wearing the palettes all week to see if I really wanted to, you know, purchase these palettes. And I purchased the Deer and the Swan like 2 days ago, and I got the free shipping, and their shipping warehouse is in Gardenia, California, which is in Southern California, and I live in the Bay Area. So it arrived early because then it said it was gonna arrive on Monday, September 9th. And I was like, shoot. And I upgraded one of them to UPS Ground because they're using UPS and then they're gonna carry it over to US Postal Service. So I upgraded one of them, but they both showed up today, ground, yay. Okay, first thing is I'm gonna go in with my Bronze Sheer Glow Face Tint from Chantecaille, and I'm going to apply this to my neck and chest. And then I'll go in with my foundation, and then we're going to start off with the eyes, and then I will go into powdering my face, and then we'll do the face. So I am just putting this on so it can even out my skin. I can't really see it because of the viewfinder, so I'm just using that, and it's not a very good judge. So I have to make sure I get it in the crevices. Otherwise I'll have this white stripe right here. So my dress that I'm wearing this evening just is open right here. So that's where I'm just going to put this. But that's what it looks like on my neck and my chest. As you can see, it just gives me an evenness of my neck and my chest with a soft focus, and it's going to be helpful for the foundation that we're going to use. Now I chose this so you guys could see it, and this is a, it's like a radiant finish, but it does have that titanium dioxide in it, so you can really feel it and see it on the skin. So this is the shade Vanilla, and to me this seemed like it was a little bit dark. But this is a tinted moisturizer, but it does have some pretty good coverage in it right off the bat. I think it has a little bit more coverage than the Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation, but it does look pretty on the skin. I'm just not so sure how this will work for me in the winter time because it is a tad bit drying on me, but I did prep my skin really well with loads of hydration, and that's another reason why I went in with the Dermatology tinted, universal tinted SPF, because it is moisturizing compared to my Neova Silk Sheer 2.0. When I wear this with my Neova Silk Sheer 2.0, it feels a little bit drying on my skin. Okay, so let me check and blend. So I'm going to take my BK Beauty 115 brush, and I'm just going to pounce this into my skin, pounce and pressed, so it's evenly blended in. And as you can see, this is definitely a light coverage product. So it's great for on the go because you can apply it with your hands really quickly and then just blend it in. Now I feel like I need a little bit more around the center of my face. And at first I thought that this was too dark for me, but it actually works really well. So let me just layer this up. And I've always applied this with my hands and not with a brush. So let's see how it blends in with the brush. This is a pretty dense brush, but I do like it sometimes for blending in foundation, not applying it, because this brush, with how dense it is, and a lot of foundation brushes, I find that when they're dense like this, I use way more foundation. It like soaks it up. So this really isn't sticking to my nose today. My nose is being finicky. Let me go in with the BK Beauty A506 Kitten Paw concealer brush. I like this brush more for the face versus under the eyes. The Angie Hot and Flashy collaboration isn't really my favorite. There's a lot of brushes in there I don't like. And with the BK Beauty eye brushes, I mean, they're just okay. Where I think they shine is their complexion brushes. Because the few eye brushes that I have, except for the Nikki LaRose collection, they're just not that great of quality. And Angie Hot and Flashy collaboration is one of them. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for concealer until after we finish my eyes. So here is the Chantecaille skin tint in the shade Vanilla. Just do a final check. Everything looks great. And I'll use the Chantecaille concealer today too, because I just want a very light coverage. So first off, I'm going to just prep my lips with my Atour lip treatment. And I kind of had a really lazy day today. I didn't get much sleep last night. Misha woke me up so early in the morning. She had to go potty and I couldn't fall back to sleep. And so I worked out, took her for a walk, and then after that, I painted my toenails, and then I fell asleep on the couch and I took a 2-hour nap. Okay, so I'm not going to powder this Mario shadow. Actually, maybe I will just powder it just a little bit. I'm going to be using my Guerlain Parley Gold powder, and I'm just going to go in very lightly and powder, because sometimes this Mario shadow does kind of skip if I apply other powders over it. So I want to be able to get the true color of this bronzer. So I'm going to start out with the bronzer in the palette, which I believe is called Diffused Light. And I cannot read the shade names of these. I'm gonna have to do it by memory because I can't see. So here's the bronzer here, and I'm gonna apply it with my Refer 01, and I'm gonna stick to natural hair brushes except for the finishing powders in this palette. So we have two finishing powders. One is new. This Dream Light is from the Dragon palette last year. It was new last year. We have Aura Light, which this has marbling in it. I have never seen that for a finishing powder with Hourglass. Now, the marbling to me looks like a pink and cream. I hear that this does have a slight shimmer into it, so I'm gonna avoid this underneath my eyes, and I will use Dream Light underneath my eyes. Here is the bronzer in Diffuse Light. This is one of their most popular bronzers, especially for fair to light skin. And then we have the highlighter. Gosh, maybe I need to just put on my glasses to read this, so you guys know. I don't want you guys to know, but I'm sure you've watched other videos on this and they've swatched them and done all sorts of things already. I still can't read it. Nope. I can't read it, I'm sorry, but I forgot what the name of this bronzer is. The writing is very tiny, and it's light and in gold, so it's very hard for me to see right now. I apologize for that. And then I believe we have Radiant Peach and Vibrant Pink blush. So let's go in with the bronzer on a Refer 01 here. And let's pick this up and start it out in my crease. So it does look pretty light. And here's what it looks like on my brush. And here we go. Oh yeah, this is pretty light. I don't know if this is gonna show up on my skin or not. But the good thing about the Hourglass powders is that they are buildable and very easy to blend out. So this is gonna be a builder for me, by the way. Okay, so I'm just building this up in my crease. Really pretty and really, really soft. But I don't know if this is gonna show up on me, on my face skin. So the reason why I went for the Deer palette is because I was watching Tanya Wells with her review of these palettes. And she has a darker complexion than me. And when she was trying this on her, this Deer palette, it looked so pretty and so soft. Because I was originally just going to get the Swan palette, but then I watched her video and I just changed my mind and just picked up this one. And then I saw the Horse palette, and the Horse palette has some colors in it that I wanted from previous palettes, and I didn't want to purchase them individually like Mood Exposure Blush, because as we all know, Hourglass powders are not cheap. They are beautiful, and I think they're beautiful for mature skin. They just blend on the skin so beautifully and give you the most ethereal looking skin. Their finishing powders are stunning. I use them sometimes to blend out eyeshadow, to blend out my blush if it's too much, to soften, you know, lines of demarcation. So, okay, so there's that bronzer on my eyelids. As you can see, it is very, very light, very light. So now let's go in with the highlighter, and this highlighter looks like it has a pink base to it. So I'm gonna go in with a Refer 28 flat tip brush. And we're gonna apply this all over my mobile lid. And here's what that looks like on my brush. And it's sort of like a peachy pink, like a light peachy pink. Yeah, this is pretty light. So if you have a true medium complexion, I'm not so sure. But like I said, I did watch Tanya Wells' video on this, and this doesn't have, this is a very soft highlighter. It's not it's not blinging. It's sort of like it looks like a satin on the lids versus last year's highlighters. And then the one in the Swan is pretty blingy from what I've seen. So you have to go in with a light hand with that highlighter. Okay, so that's pretty light. Oh boy, I hope I'm not disappointed with this purchase because I can't return it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with a Refer 15 Mini, and we're gonna go into this Radiant Pink or Vibrant Pink, I think it is, blush. And I'm going to put this in my crease and my eye socket. And here's what this blush looks like. It's pretty light. And I'm just gonna put that right in through here. Yeah, this is pretty light. I think what we'll do for this look is when, after I try on both shadows, or both blushes on my cheeks, the peach on one side and the pink on the other, I think I'm gonna mix them because I think that mixing them will be a hit. But you have to also understand these aren't eyeshadows, they're face powders, so they're not gonna be as pigmented when you use them on the eyes. Okay, so there's Vibrant Pink. Okay, so I'm gonna wipe off my brush and I'm gonna go in with the peach, and I'm just gonna layer that too. This one, definitely more color payoff with this one. So I'm just gonna put this right on my mobile lid and just leave that highlighter pinking out. Yeah, these are pretty light compared to the Dragon palette. This is definitely a lighter color story than the Dragon palette. If you have fair skin, these will probably look really, really pretty and punchy on you. But if you have light to medium skin, you're really gonna have to build these. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so I really wanted to do, you know, like a liner. So let me do that. I'm gonna grab my Evil Eye palette, and I'm gonna take the bronzer from here, which is the same bronzer as the one in the Swan palette, and I'm going to use this as a liner sort of shadow because I'm trying to stick with the Hourglass palettes as much as I can. So one thing to take note with the Hourglass powders is that they are baked, and they're a hard bake. So when you first get these, they are going to have like a hard coating on them, and you just work your way through it. And then once you've worked your way through that hard coating, they do get softer, by the way. So I'm going in with the bronzer for a liner just to keep the look really, really soft for today. My husband will really like this makeup look. He likes me without makeup. But I love makeup, so he has to get along with it. Okay, so there is the natural bronze from the Evil Eye palette as my liner. Okay, now let me just go in with my Chantecaille concealer. Now I have been using this. It's just a very light coverage. It's not ideal, but we're just trying to keep this look soft and fast. So I don't like to let this sit too long on the skin before blending it in because my skin will absorb it. Would I repurchase this? Probably not. It's not enough. I would like just a little bit more coverage than what it gives. Also, the shade range isn't ideal. This is more of a brightening and smoothing concealer versus it is for coverage. But I will tell you, I like how smoothing this is underneath the eyes. It really smooths out the under eyes. Now, I haven't tried another concealer on top of it because I'm afraid it might look cakey, and I really haven't had time to play around with it like that. And I'm not going to do that today. Sometimes what I like to do is put a little bit of the Cali Ray under eye brightener underneath it for a little bit more brightening and covering up of my dark circles. My no sleep last night. But I will tell you, I feel great. My new supplements have been working, finally. Finally, relief. Okay, so there is my concealer. Now, let's put the top back on that so it doesn't make a mess. And in with my Hourglass order, I did order these separately, by the way. I was able to choose deluxe samples, and I chose the Unreal Blush, and this is in the color Scene. I had this, and I actually tossed it because I never use it. And after I tossed it, I was kind of regretting it. So, but I'm just going to go in with a little bit more of that peach and kind of make it a little bit more vibrant here. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara in Drift. This is a brown mascara. I want to call it Dirt. Okay, so here we go. Brown mascara is going to look really pretty with this look. This is such a great mascara. If my eyes are puffy, then it will have a smudge down below. And if they're puffy up here, it will smudge. But other than that, I haven't had any issues with it. So it's really, really nice. And I know everybody says tubing mascara is easy to take off, but I don't like to do the separate step of taking warm water and rubbing it. I just use my cleansing oil and remove it. And sometimes it can be a little bit tough, but this is going to be a nice face washing night because all this makeup is going to be really easy to take off. And I look forward to that when I have mascara that comes off so easy with my cleansing oil, like this one does. So my eyes are just a tad bit sensitive because it's allergy season here now officially. It has kicked in, and so they've been watering a lot. So hopefully the Guerlain powder doesn't bother me, because when it's allergy season, isn't that such a beautiful mascara? I love me some brown mascara. It doesn't look harsh on my eyes. Okay, did I get it anywhere? I did. Okay, got it a little bit up here. Let me fix that with the brush here. Okay, so let's powder the rest of the face really quick with the Guerlain powder. And then we'll go into the rest of this palette with applying the bronzer, the finishing powders, and the blush. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to powder this down. And this is the shade Translucent, which has a brightening, sort of a light pink hue to it for brightening. And I like this for when, especially when my foundation seems a little bit too dark, which actually this looks pretty good. So it's starting to even out with my skin tone. And then, so you know, it doesn't oxidize. It gets oxidized at first when you put it on. Okay, so let me go into the Dream Light finishing powder underneath my eyes. I'm gonna take this BK Beauty 108 brush, and I'm gonna grab some of this powder on the brush. Now this is pretty light, but as you can see, it's just gonna diffuse my under eye. Now you can use the Hourglass powders for setting, but they're meant to be a finishing powder to go over your powder. They're not really a setting powder, but you can use them, especially if you have dry skin. If you don't have dry skin, then this won't give you enough setting power to set your makeup. So I put this in between my brows, underneath my eyes, a little bit here on my chin and down the bridge of my nose and on the sides of my nose for a little bit more brightening. Now let's go into the bronzer. So I am going to use my Refer 19. This is a natural hair brush, and sometimes with these Hourglass powders, when they are very, very light, it's good to use a natural hair brush because they pick up the colors better, if you don't mind. Okay, so we're going in with that bronzer, and I just don't even think we're gonna see this on my skin. It's just so incredibly light. Okay. Well, actually, it is showing up just a little bit. It's just very, very soft. Okay. Come over here on my cheeks. You have to really build this up if you are light to medium skin tone. If you're my shade twin, I don't know if this one's gonna work for you. Maybe in the winter. I like to just kind of carve out my jaw. Well, I could tell you with how much I am going into this pan that this is probably, see it, you can see it. It is very, very soft though. This will probably get worn down pretty fast. Okay. Very, very soft. Again, if you have fair skin tone, then I think this will be perfect for you. It is pretty and it's smoothing my skin. It's just very, very soft. This is probably gonna definitely be a better palette for me to use in the winter time or when I just want a very soft makeup look. Okay, so there we go with the bronzer. As you can see it, it is very, very soft. So if you are my shade twin, if you're light, medium, neutral, this is what it's gonna look like on your skin. Now I'm gonna go in with my Refer 04 brush and we're gonna grab this light pink blush or vibrant pink. And we're gonna apply this to this cheek right here. Okay, here it is. It's very soft. So let's let that settle. So vibrant pink, it's very soft and it's not, it has that Hourglass radiance to it, but it's not like shimmery or overly glowy. So we're gonna let that settle down, and then I'm gonna take my Nikki LaRose N16 blush brush, and we're gonna go into the peach one. And this one, I'm not so worried about it being light on the skin and using a natural hairbrush to it, because this one actually looks like it's a little bit more pigmented than the pink. And yes, I'm right. It is. Wow, that's really pretty. That is a pretty peach blush. It's so nice to see these peaches coming out in the Hourglass palettes instead of everything being some sort of light pink. Now I'm going to go in a little bit more with this pink. And my eye is watering. So I have these special cotton swabs from work that we use for surgery to soak up the water in my eye because it's like tearing from allergies. And they're dry, but once the water hits it, they expand. So I don't want it to ruin my makeup. Okay. All right. Okay, so that is it for the palette for right now. I'm gonna go do my hair really quick, let the blush settle, and then I will be right back for the finishing look. Hey everyone, I'm back. My hair is did. I'm just letting it air dry today. I just put my product through it, and then I'm dressed. Now, I've been having issues with this eye tearing heavily. I already went through one of my Q-tips, and I'm on my second one, which I don't know what I just did with it. It's right here. And I'm just trying to soak it up. It won't stop tearing. And this is what's been happening to me all week because of allergies. So I did have to fix up the liner down here a little bit because I'm tearing it off. But here is what the peach blush looks like over here. And I did not touch it up. And then we have the vibrant pink blush on this side. And I did not touch it up. This is the first application. Now, I am going to go out to dinner, so I do not want to, be lopsided with the blushes. So I'm going to go in with the vibrant pink, and I'm going to top it on this peach one, which I think that these two blushes combined together gives you a little bit more pigment in them versus wearing them on their own. Except for this peach blush is pretty punchy. Well, not punchy, it's pigmented is what I meant to say. Now, we have two more steps. So first we're gonna go in with the highlighter. I'm gonna take my Rephr 20 highlighter brush, and I'm gonna grab some of this highlighter, and I'll put it down the bridge of my nose, and I'll put it over here. This is very, very light. It barely even shows up on me. Oops, sorry, I keep covering. Oh, that is a beautiful highlighter. It definitely shows up on the skin. It looks more natural and one with your skin instead of being super in there in your face. Then I'm going to take that highlighter and I'm going to put it here in the inner corners of my eyes just to give me a little bit of brightness. Okay, doesn't really show up there. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the Aura Light finishing powder. And this is what made me curious about this palette because people with my skin tone and darker said it just looks so pretty on the skin. So let's take this because the Hourglass finishing powders are really great to go around, and if your blush is too dark or if you want to blend it in seamlessly into the skin, to blend it and give your skin that ethereal glow. Oh, that is very, very pretty. It did tone down the blushes a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some more of that peach and top it off. I need a little bit more pink on this side, I think. And there we go. So next I'm going to do some lips. So I'm just going to go in with my Edam lip softening balm in the color Guava Fresca. I love this. This is what I've been wearing. I wore this last night in my video, and I've been wearing this all week. Such a pretty gloss. It goes with everything. I love it. Well, it's a lip balm. Not a gloss, but what I love about this lip balm is that it does have enzymes in it to help exfoliate the lips. Now, let's see. Got a little bit too much over here. Ooh, I'm dropping things. Okay, let's take a look. I think I need a little bit more of the bronzer here on my, this eye in my contour, as it looks higher up on this one than it does this one. So let's go ahead and grab some more of that. Oops, that's the wrong brush. Where is it? Don't you hate it when you have like all these brushes with the same handles in front of you and you can't find one that you use? So here it is, Rephr number 1. And as you can see with this Rephr number 1, it barely looks used with that bronzer. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more of this over here. And I'm going to apply a little bit more over here. Sorry, I keep covering up the viewfinder, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this Refer 14 Mini and I'm gonna go in with this Aura Light finishing powder here, and I'm going to use this to soften the lines of my eyeshadow here. Okay, and use it as a brow highlight. That's what's nice about these finishing powders too, is they're great to soften and blend your eyeshadows in too, by the way. Okay, so here's the final look. What do you guys think? I think that this palette is really pretty, but it's a little bit too light for my liking. I actually prefer the Dragon palette from last year. I found that this one was definitely a little bit more pigmented, especially with the bronzer and the highlighter. This one is just very, very soft. So if you don't like a soft look and you don't want to constantly build these up, if you are my skin tone or deeper, then this isn't the palette for you unless you're a collector. Do I regret getting it? Well, I will have to play with it a little bit more and let you know. But I think the Swan palette is going to be perfect for me, to where it's going to be a quick and easy makeup look, because the colors are definitely more pigmented and meant for my skin tone versus this Deer palette. So that's my thoughts. Okay, so let's go into my final thoughts about these palettes. Well, this Deer palette. So I am disappointed in this because I was hoping that it was going to be a little bit pigmented, a little bit more pigmented than what it actually is. And it's kind of strange to me that I can't see the bronzer on my skin tone, but others who have tried this, I see it on theirs. And it could just be the bright lights that are blinding me right now, and I may go off camera and I may think differently, but it is beautiful. So if you have fair to light skin, I would definitely recommend this for you. If you have light to medium skin, I would say that, you know, you're taking a gamble with this. You're gonna have to really build up your blushes and this bronzer in order to get it to, you know, appear on your skin, but you can use the natural hair brushes and maybe a little bit more of a dense brush to get them to pick up and show up on you. I mean, can you guys see it? What do you guys think? It is soft, it is pretty. I will use it, but I am disappointed with it. Compared to last year's, the Dragon palette was my favorite, and this one is just okay. So that is it for this video. I hope that you guys found that it was helpful. I am sending you all so much love and light, and I will see you in the next one for the Swan palette. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.